It's Saturday. You know exactly what that means. When it comes to me and live streams, Saturdays are for wrestling. Week in review. This is number 54. Cannot believe I've been doing this for 54 times now. Plus any added times that I've been doing this before I started calling them Wrestling Week in Review live streams. So technically I've been doing this for more than 54 times, but as far as me calling this a Wrestling Week in Review podcast / live stream, this is number 54. Let's get into it. I want to add a lot that I would love to talk about, and I'm going to talk about today. I mean, not exactly a whole lot happened this week. We got quarterfinals for the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown this week. This week on NXT, we also got some qualifying matches. Those were for the ladder match. Those were for the ladder match that will take place at NXT Battleground to determine the first ever women's North American champion in NXT. So we got two qualifying matches on NXT. AEW Dynamite wasn't much that happened. We did get a return, which I will talk about. But let's start out with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was a good show. Not much exciting happened, but a lot of what we did get was good. The opener was Drew McIntyre was in the ring. He talked about CM Punk. He even mentioned Damian Priest, the world champion, the new world heavyweight champion. Damian Priest would actually come out to confront Drew McIntyre. They had a back and forth. And Drew McIntyre had a very interesting point to make, and that was that after Drew McIntyre won his match for the World Heavyweight Championship, he could have just celebrated with his wife and could have just moved on. It could have just went backstage, enjoyed his moment, but he had to confront CM Punk, who was at ringside at the announcer's table. He wanted to rub it in CM Punk's face, said, "Hey, I did what you said you wanted to do, but were not able to do because I injured you. And now I'm holding the title that you wanted, and I'm having the moment that you said you were going to have this year, but didn't get to because of me." Obviously, we know what happened. CM Punk then attacks Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase and wins the title. So basically, what Damian Priest said was that you made CM Punk more important than your wife, more important than the moment that you wanted. I mean, you got everything that you wanted, the moment in front of fans, but then you made it all about CM Punk, basically. And if things go as I think they should go, we will be getting Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle. That should be the main event of the show. I don't know how that doesn't main event. How they don't main event. I mean, unless they decide, unless Cody Rhodes defends his title, then that could be the main event. But I don't know. But from what I did hear as of yesterday, they might be doing Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in the main event of Clash at the Castle, which to me sounds like a good idea. as far as who wins that match, it's pretty obvious that that Drew McIntyre is winning the championship. There's no way WWE is going to shaft Drew McIntyre at 2 consecutive Clash at the Castle PLEs, because the last time he wrestled at Clash at the Castle in the main event was against Roman Reigns. He lost via interference from Solo Sikoa. Don't tell me that Roman Reigns actually defended his title successfully and cleanly at that event, because we all know that would be a bull-faced lie. Solo Sikoa did interfere in the match. And partially it is Drew McIntyre's fault for taking his eye off the ball, but hey, it is what it is. Roman Reigns won that time. I do not see Drew McIntyre losing this time. Drew McIntyre does win the title. Eventually, once CM Punk gets back, he will. Go to hell. Nate, what happened? Did you lose your mod position? Well, then allow me to rectify that. Let me rectify that. I don't know how I did, because I don't know how I did, but well, I knew you were coming, mainly because I guess I just figured, hey, it's Saturday, you're gonna be here. I figured, hey, it's Saturday, Nate's gonna eventually show up. He has to. It's his job. But yeah, we got we also had the qualifying matches, the quarterfinal matches in the don't tell me it isn't. Don't tell me it's not your job. Yeah, and don't tell me someone doesn't tell you to come here. We got quarterfinal matches for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. We got Io Sky versus Shayna Baszler. We got Kofi Kingston versus Gunther. We got Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. And we got Ilya Dragunov versus Jey Uso. Io Sky versus Shayna Baszler was the first of the 4 matches we would see. Io Sky did win this match in about 8 minutes. About 8 minutes. It was a good match. Io Sky will now go on to face the winner of Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. Kofi Kingston versus Gunther was the second match. We actually got a bit of a surprise. Lillian Garcia returned to WWE on TV to announce the Kofi Kingston versus Gunther match. She introduced Kofi Kingston into the ring, which I'm sure she's done a number of times, because he was there during her time in WWE. He was WWE, and this match went about 12 minutes. It was very good. It was a very good match. Kofi Kingston did lose, though. Hey, Aaron. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. If there's anybody that is coming into the live stream and has not hit that like button, feel free to do so. It is never a requirement. but I would appreciate it. You've only got 1 like so far. Last week, I think we got like 6 likes. 6 likes on the live stream. If we can get that much, I will be fine, perfectly fine with that. Yeah, Nate, don't tell me someone doesn't tell you to come here and trash talk me. No, that's crap. Big noise get, huh? Are you talking about big? Oh yeah, big movie fan, 18 plus. I don't. That was Nate. That was Nate that did that. I don't know why he did it, but he did it, and now I made her a mod. I made her a mod, so hopefully she doesn't have to worry about that again. But thanks for coming, Aaron. Again, if you want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. Also, if any of you guys would like to share out my live stream, potentially to your channels, and just see if maybe we can get some new people, some more people. He's been timed out too. He's been timed out too by me. Mainly for just being an annoying prick. But I mostly ignore what he says. Mostly. Yeah, Aaron, if you want to share my live stream out on your channel, feel free to do so. You don't have to, but I would very much appreciate the views. Okay. We also got a backstage segment with Carlito and the Judgment Day. Carlito apparently wants to join Judgment Day to, I guess, get revenge on Rey Mysterio. Now, at first, Damian Priest says no, but then later on in the night, we would get a backstage segment, I guess, with New Catch Republic and Braun Breaker both had meetings with Adam Pearce. We also got Awesome Truth and Kiana James, who also both had talks with Adam Pearce. Apparently, R-Truth talked with Adam Pearce about setting up a number 1 contenders match for their new tag team titles. And we would get a fatal 4-way match later on in the night with Judgment Day of Finn Balor and JD McDonough versus New Catch Republic versus AOP versus the Creed brothers. Judgment Day would actually win this match, which was interesting. I didn't know who they were going to get, who they were going to have win this match, but I'm guessing they kind of figured they have to do a heel team to go up against Judgment Day right now, and Judgment Day are the best tag team to go up against the Awesome Truth at this point. I don't know if Judgment Day are gonna win back titles. JD and Finn are gonna win the titles. I feel like that the Awesome Truth will win. I can't remember when they said the match was going to take place. Maybe it'll take place this upcoming Monday, but we don't know. And, as always, I am drinking my Powerade. Mixed berry flavored, as always. I mean, it's either this, fruit punch, or my berry propels. Those are the 3 drinks that you usually will see me with, unless I don't have either of those 3, and then I'll just have a bottle of water instead, Hey, You got to stay hydrated. Got to stay hydrated because we also got a backstage segment with after Judgment Day does win the match, we have another backstage segment involving Carlito and the Judgment Day. This time, Damian Priest has a bit of a change of hearts, mainly because Carlito did help Judgment Day win the match. So Damian Priest is now willing to at least see where a potential partnership with Carlito goes in the future. I actually cannot wait to see what Carlito does with Dirty Dominic. I mean, Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Carlito pairing sounds like a good pairing of two literal scumbags who you just can't help but boo. I mean, Dominic is still the top. I'm pretty the top heel on Raw because he's the one that gets the most boos whenever he's out there. Even when he's not even wrestling, when he just talks, he says one word and then immediately you can't even hear a word he's saying because he's getting booed so heavily. And don't tell me that it's piped in because I don't think that kind of heat can be manufactured. I think it's genuine and I think it's legit. I just don't think you can manufacture that kind of heat. We also got a Alpha Academy backstage segment. Chad Gable was I guess doing his usual verbal beatdown of his Alpha Academy teammates. He even referred to Maxxine Dupri as not so Taylor Swift, or I think it was either not so Taylor Swift or Taylor not so Swift. Can't remember the exact wording that he used, but I thought that was pretty interesting because yes, Taylor Swift is also a blonde as Maxxine Dupri is. So it was pretty good. I mean, he also set up 2 matches tonight for his Alpha Academy stablemates. Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa, and he said to, "Oh, Dino Man, hey, Nate, will you stop it, Nate?" Well, hey, Dino Man, you're a mod on my channel now, but hey, you just got yourself a free timeout. Oh, but he doesn't care. He's going to keep doing it because he wants to. And also because he's probably being told to by somebody. I didn't. It was Nate. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. I had someone Dino Man just messaged me, so I had to. Yeah. So sorry, Dino Man. I didn't time you out. Nate did. He's probably being told to do it, so that's okay. It's okay. We got Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa. Chad Gable told Akira Tozawa if I see you do that dance of yours, even just once, I'm gonna. Yeah, I know, but I am sort of just keeping Nate as a mod just for punishment, just because he keeps coming here. I mean, if Nate doesn't even like me and doesn't even care for any of my opinions, then why the hell does he show up every week? I'll tell you why. I mean, I'd like to tell you why, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to keep doing the live stream as is, and I'm not going to be distracted anymore. Well, I'm sure there's going to be at least a couple troll accounts that maybe come in every now and then, but we got Bronson Reed won this match in about 2 minutes. It was what it was. It was basically just a match to further the heel Chad Gable story of where he just he's just upset with his Alpha Academy stablemates for constantly losing and constantly looking like jokes. Chad Gable is done joking around people. Okay, he has no need for jokers anymore in his stable. Eventually, Alpha Academy is going to get a makeover with Akira Tozawa and Otis being kicked to the curb, and Chad Gable bringing in the Creed brothers as his new tag team, as his new guys. Which one ends up being his new number one guy, I don't know. Whether it's Brutus or Julius, I feel like it's going to happen eventually. Eventually, Chad Gable is going to have enough, is going to say, I've had enough. I'm tired of you guys always losing and always making me look bad. And so I'm dumping you three. And then whether or not Ivy Nile eventually winds up joining the Creed brothers with Chad Gable, I do not know. Ivy Nile could just decide to side with Maxine. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Hey Eric. Hey Eric. Thank you for coming. For those of you who are just now here, if you want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. You don't have to do it. It's not required, but I would appreciate it. We also got Sami Zayn versus Otis. Chad Gable wanted Otis to, quote unquote, soften up Sami Zayn for Crown Jewel, for King and Queen of the Ring, which there will be a triple threat match for the title, which I think Sami Zayn will win because Sami Zayn will probably be pinning Bronson Reed. I just don't see Bronson Reed being... I feel like the only reason why Bronson Reed was put in this match was so he could take the pin and that Sami Zayn could win the match. And then eventually we get a true one-on-one rematch with Sami Zayn and Chad Gable, with Chad Gable obviously winning the title and having a long run with it. I feel like Sami Zayn is going to eventually drop the title to Chad Gable, but I feel like it's going to be in a one-on-one match. We got Sami Zayn also won this match in about 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. Also, Chad Gable did not want to see Otis do the worm, but he did do it, and he looked like he was super pissed about it. Like, I told you not to do that. And then he decided, after the match, to slap Otis in the face. Well, yeah, he's also, I'm sure, being told to do it. Good thing you're already a mod, Aaron, because you'd be timed out by Nate too. We also got a let's see what else. Oh, we got Becky Lynch. We got Becky Lynch versus Dakota Kai. This match went about 7.5 minutes or so. Match wasn't that bad. Just wasn't really necessary for the show. But hey, he knows. But it's his job. It's his job now. It's his job, and he can't tell me. He can't tell me that it's not because I know. Because I know. I know things. I see things. Even when certain people don't think I'm looking and I'm watching. We also got Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. This was a quarterfinal match for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Lyra Valkyria wins in about 8 minutes. It was a pretty decent match. Better than her last match against Dakota Kai. First round match with Dakota Kai was a lot better. I think Lyra is actually. I could very well see them doing Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky versus whoever wins on the SmackDown side, whether it's Bianca or Nia Jax. Who knows? They could do that. But then again, I could also see them doing Io Sky if they do decide to go with. We'll see what happens on Monday. We'll see what happens on Monday. And then the main event was Ilya Dragunov versus Jey Uso. This was a quarterfinal match for the King of the Ring tournament. This match actually somewhat surprised me. Didn't actually see Jey Uso winning, but I'm guessing they're going with they're holding off on the Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther match, which I am anticipating will happen at some point. And for those who say Nate. Come on, Nate. Well, Dolores, you're a mod now, but you have to. But you've also been put in timeout, so it is what it is. But and for those of you who are saying that Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov will never happen, it will happen. It will happen at some point, and it will be a great match. Just so you know. But that was basically it for Monday Night Raw. If I had to rate Monday Night Raw, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10. It was good, wasn't perfect, wasn't great, but it was good. Some things didn't need to be there. Otis versus Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa, and Becky Lynch versus Dakota Kai didn't really need to be there either. Although the two other matches, as I said, were part of a storyline basically. But hey. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put you through that. So what I am going to put you as actually am going to put you as a moderator. So just so you know. The real one. I don't know who you are, the real one. I don't know who you are, the real one, but I'm going to add you as a mod anyways. You know what? Just for the sake of today, why not? Oh, great, I can't do it. Yes. Remove a standard moderator. Okay. Huh? Aaron, what you saying? What are you saying? Whatever. Now we go on to NXT. NXT was a pretty decent show. It was a pretty good show. It was about the same as SmackDown, as Monday Night Raw, or some things that maybe didn't need to be there, but a lot of good matches and some good segments and stuff. You're Mr. Beast? Okay. Okay. Conman167. Aaron, can you just check? You're a mod. You can go onto that channel and just check and see if it's real, if it's legit. Because I don't know if it's legit, if that's legit, if that's a legit channel or not, or whether it's just a troll account. Hey, I get more than my fair share of troll accounts on my channel every now and then, so just being safe. I'm being cautious and being safe. I don't know what channels are. Yeah. But yeah, Aaron, can you check on that channel just to see if it's... Now that I know is not Matt. Now that I do know is not Matt. So... let's see. What, Chi-Town Smark? Who in the what? In the world? Okay, now this is crazy. Chi-Town Smark, I know who he is. I know who he is because I see him. Yes, I'm gonna admit it. I'm going to admit it. I do watch JD. I watch JD from New York. Okay, I watch JD from New York. I like his live streams. Okay, and I know this guy is on his live streams. If it's the real deal, then oh my god, I'm hoping. But yeah, NXT was loosely based around a Heritage Cup match with Charlie Dempsey and Tony D'Angelo. We also got to... Okay, wow. I don't know what to say. I really have no idea what to say. Except, thank you for coming. I mean, wow. But just to be sure, I might just have to check anyways, just to be on the safe side, because yes, like I did say, I think a few minutes ago, I have had my fair share of troll accounts come in, so at this point, I really have no idea who is real and who is fake. Unless the channel that I actually do know, then unless the channel that I actually know, then it's... Yeah, I ignore the haters, but most of the time I just time them out and I hide them on my channel because I have no need for any sort of drama on this channel. But yeah. The opening actually saw the D'Angelo family meet Ava Raine in her office. Now, if I'm not mistaken, last week on NXT, we got a situation in which Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp got snatched up by the D'Angelo family. And that's what they were there for. They had to pay a fine. I think it was $200,000, if I'm not mistaken. They already had the envelope already ready with a little extra in there. Maybe for the next time that this happened. We got Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice were backstage being interviewed. And at some point, Carmen Petrovic and Natalia they all started brawling with each other. This clearly is not over between the four of them. We also got a tag team match, OTM Out the Mud versus Idris Anofe and Malik Blade. Apparently, Reggie slash Scripps slash Reginald, his contract is apparently ending soon, and I'm going to be very disappointed when he leaves because I actually kind of liked him. I kind of liked him as Reggie when he was the 24/7 champion. He was giving me like R-Truth vibes with his antics and how he would just be able to just avoid losing his title. And his partnership with these two guys, I can't remember their names for the life of me. I only know them as OTM Out the Mud, but this has been, I think, the best presentation of Scripps that we've seen. I mean, AEW's been okay. Some of their shows are like some good things, and then some like things that maybe don't need to happen. Like this week on AEW, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, this match went about 6 minutes or so. OTM win the match. We also got an instance early in the show where Noam Dar apparently got himself injured. I don't know whether it was someone that injured him or whatever. I don't remember what, but he was supposed to have a match with Javon Evans, and so apparently Ora Mensa decided, hey, listen, I'll fill in for you. Don't worry, I'll fill in for the match. And that's what we got, Ora Mensa versus Javon Evans. That match went about 8 minutes. It was actually a very good match. If I'm not, Ora Mensa, I think, won the match. It was pretty good for... And I've been pretty impressed with Javon Evans as of late. I think his first match, official match was against Scripps. And then he had a match with like Ilya Dragunov, which was pretty good. All of his matches, I think, have been around the same length of time, like 8 minutes or so, and he's pretty good. So I'm impressed. I'm getting impressed. We also got a Charlie Dempsey interview. He was being interviewed before his match with Tony D'Angelo for the Heritage Cup. We also got a segment involving Wes Lee, Josh Briggs, Ivar, and Obafemi. All three superstars want a shot at Obafemi's championship. I'm not sure why Josh Briggs and Ivar were involved in this, because we literally only just got those two involved in matches for Obafemi's title. The only person that even really does deserve a shot is Wes Lee. He's been injured ever since Deadline, which was when he was, I think, supposed to face then champion Dominic Mysterio for the title. We got Dragon Lee instead. Dragon Lee wins the title. It's never great, but it is good on some occasions. Like this past week, I think either this past week or the week before that, Spring Break-In was a great show. Both weeks of Spring Break-In were good shows. And we got some good title matches, including a very good triple threat match for the women's title against Lyra Valkyria, Tatum Paxley, and Roxanne Perez. That had that interesting finish with Roxanne Perez performing a jackknife cover on Lyra Valkyria on Tatum Paxley after Tatum did a really good 450 splash on Lyra, basically just stealing the win after it was basically Tatum's match to win. As far as who eventually takes the title off of Roxanne Perez, I have no idea. I didn't know if they were going to put the title on Roxanne because I thought they were going to bring her up to the main roster, just like they were going to just like they apparently did with like Blair and Kiana and Ilya and whoever else they brought up from NXT. Like, well, I mean, as far as like actual legit NXT talent, not like talent like Baron Corbin, who was originally main roster, but then just came back down to NXT for a bit of a rebranding, which was actually the best thing that could have happened to him because his run has been in NXT was really good. Better than anything he did on the main roster, I'm going to tell you that much. I don't know. I don't listen to the hate. I don't listen to the haters. I try to ignore the haters as much as possible because like I said, I don't need that toxicity in my life. I don't need it on this live stream and that's just all I have to say. As far as who I think wins this match between Wesley, because eventually Obafemi says that Obafemi at one point says, yes, all three of you do make a convincing argument for wanting a shot at the title. I think it was either Josh Briggs, Ivar, or Wesley that said, why not make this a fatal four-way? But then Obafemi decided, you know what? Why not I just let you three go at it, and whoever wins. No, not gonna do that. So I'm guessing within the near future we will be getting Wesley versus Josh Briggs versus Ivar for a shot at Obafemi's North American title. Something tells me this match will probably happen maybe next week, so coming Tuesday, and then maybe we'll get the match between Obafemi and whoever wins this match at NXT Battleground. We've already got a ladder match confirmed for NXT Battleground. Yeah, at least. Yeah, definitely. We also got a backstage segment with Carly Brinley. Whoever this woman is, I have no idea who she is. She talked with Ava Rain. Apparently, this might have led to a match later on in the show against Lola Vice, which Lola Vice did win in about 5 minutes or so. So this match meant nothing. We also got qualifying matches. These were for the ladder match, which will take place at NXT Battleground, which will be for a shot at the first ever NXT Women's North American title. Favorite wrestler of all time would be John Cena. John Cena. Rock would be a very close second, just because of how good he is on the mic and just how good he was as a wrestler in general. Both of them were great on the mic and were great wrestlers, so it makes sense. Well, as far as right now, I have no idea who my favorite would be at the moment. I mean, Cody Rhodes is an obvious answer, and then there's other guys like Randy Orton. I guess it would be Randy Orton. Would be my favorite at the moment is Randy Orton. So qualifying matches to determine who would get into the ladder match at NXT Battleground for the first ever Women's North American Championship in NXT. We had Lash Legend versus Ivy Nile and Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dane. I respect both of them. In terms of Roman Reigns, I may not exactly like his heel character and the fact that he constantly had to use the bloodline to interfere in his matches, but I respect him, and I do respect CM Punk, and I guess I do kind of like CM Punk, but it's not like he's my favorite at the moment. I said that was Randy Orton. So we got Lash Legend versus Ivy Nile. This match went about 7-8 minutes. Lash Legend actually won which was a bit surprising. I didn't know who was going to win this match. I could have seen Ivanaya win, but then she, I guess, was just there to give Lash Legend someone credible to beat. Yeah, I feel like Roman Reigns needs to return pretty soon because this story is just getting good. It's getting good. No, Tama Tonga won against LA Knight, which was a bit surprising, but then considering that Tama Tonga only just showed up and they want to give him basically the proverbial rocket, like what they're doing right now with Lyra Valkyria, because she's now in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Ilya Dragunov made it to the quarterfinals, which isn't bad, but would have liked for him to go to the finals, but I'm guessing they're just waiting on the Gunther versus Ilya. I wasn't sure who was going to win, but I thought LA Knight would win. But then eventually I said to myself, actually it would make more sense for Tama Tonga to win because they did have a little backstage segment with LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes before his match with Tama Tonga. So now I'm actually thinking it would have made more. Now it makes more sense because now it looks like they're going with a Carmelo Hayes versus LA Knight feud. And it did also look like at one point they might be going for a Bobby Lashley versus Carmelo Hayes feud with the backstage altercation that they had a few weeks ago. But then I guess he got injured, so I guess now they're going with that. It's not a bad move. It's not a bad move at all. I don't like it. And hey, Cameron. Glad you could make it. If you want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. You don't have to. I respect him and his opinions. Sometimes I feel like he gets a little too loud for my taste. But then again, that's just because he's passionate, which I am too, but at least I don't yell. I'm sorry, but that's just what I feel like. We also got Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dane in a qualifying match for the ladder match. This match also went about 7 to 8 minutes. Sol Ruka does win. And she is now qualified for the ladder match. So now the two participants so far are Lash Legend and Sol Ruka. I don't know who else will be in the match. We'll have to see what happens on this upcoming Tuesday on NXT. The main event was Charlie Dempsey versus Tony D'Angelo for the Heritage Cup title. This match went about 12 minutes. It was a very good match. It went, I think, for 4 or 5 rounds. Tony D'Angelo does win the match. At one point during the match, we did get Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp coming out to at least attempt to assist Charlie Dempsey in the win. Oh, God. Don't let those fools corrupt you into thinking that Eva Marie was even close to being a great wrestler. She was passable at best. Basically, the only reason why she was there was because she looked pretty, and that's all she was there for. The one thing she did do right in her second run was give us Doudrop / Piper Niven, because Piper Niven is a pretty decent big woman wrestler along the lines of like Jade or Bianca or Nia Jax, who are all powerhouses. She's a good big woman wrestler, and that's the one thing she did do right, is give us Doudrop / Piper Niven. So that was basically NXT. If I had to rate NXT, I would give it a 6.5. It was good. Tiffany Stratton, I don't know. she definitely, I think, from what I've heard, it doesn't look like she knew what was going on, what was happening when she uploaded the clip to her Instagram story. So, in my estimation, I don't think she. I mean, look, as long as she deleted the post quickly, and as long as she knows that she did something that she really shouldn't have done, then that's okay. And she doesn't look like she's in trouble with WWE at all. So it's not like. And this phone. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm gonna talk about it later on Smack when I go to talk about SmackDown. If I had to rate NXT tonight this week, I would have given it a 6.5 out of 10. It was good, wasn't overly great, but it was still good. Although I would maybe give it a 6 out of 10 just for a few things that really didn't need to happen. But hey, it's okay. Now we got AEW Dynamite. This was a somewhat good was a somewhat good to borderline not so good show. Some of the things that we saw that night were on Wednesday were good. When we got a Swerve versus Strickland versus Brian Cage match, which was probably one of the best matches of the night, as well as the Kazuchika Okada versus Dax Harwood match. After the Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage match, we got the Patriarch be coming out to attack Swerve Strickland. Christian Cage said to Swerve last week, "I took the Mogul Embassy from you. This week, I took your blood, and at Double or Nothing, I will take your AEW World Championship." This is... I would agree that he is a person who likes to think about, who thinks too much about what other people. That's not good. That is not good. I mean, once AEW starts getting into like the 800,000 to maybe like 900,000 viewers, then I will say, hey, they might actually be starting to get better. The 3 to maybe 4 episodes of Dynamite following Revolution were some of the best AEW television that I've seen ever since I started watching AEW in like late 2021 was when I actually first started watching Dynamite. So I haven't watched much of the early Dynamite, but I've seen the majority of it. I mean, hey, if AEW can get its crap in order and get its baggage in order, and as long as Tony Khan can stop caring about what WWE says or what certain WWE superstars say about him or the company, then it's going to be just fine. Okay? As long as AEW can worry about AEW and AEW only. Tony Khan does not need to be worried 24/7 about what WWE thinks of AEW. Tony Khan needs to worry about his company and his company only. Well, he also needs to be worried about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I seriously doubt they're making the playoffs again this year. But you never know. I think they got a new quarterback, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, seriously. Tony Khan needs to be worried about only AEW. Hey, Austin. Those of you who are just now coming in, if you want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. It's not required, but I would appreciate it. We got a segment involving Adam Copeland in the House of Black. I I mean, Carmelo Hayes is good, and I think he's definitely going to be a future star. But yeah, Trick Williams, he's got the crowd in the palm of his hand when he comes out. When he comes out, at especially at Stand and Deliver, which was it was supposed that was his hometown of Philadelphia, and the crowd was just like loud, like a loud. It was about as loud as like Leon France, Puerto Rico for Backlash last year, Leon France at Backlash this year, or Jacksonville, which was last night for SmackDown. I I've seen the QR codes, although I don't haven't. I've seen the QR codes and I've heard all the stuff about what all these QR codes lead to because I do watch. I am subscribed to at least. Am subscribed to at least one wrestling news YouTube channel on here on this channel. So I hear about the QR codes every day and I see them, but I don't really follow them as much. We got Copeland in the House of Black, and yes, it is official. Adam Copeland will defend his TNT title at Double or Nothing. If I'm not mistaken, it was a barbed wire steel cage match that he challenged Malachi Black to. He's defended the title against the other two members of House of Black already, so it only makes sense that he would finally target Malachi Black. Done. But yeah, we also got the return of Hook. He wants to go after the FTW Championship and Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree Chris Jericho, which I'm not as invested in the storyline as I know some people might be. But putting Chris Jericho and Big Bill together may be a good thing for Big Bill because after his dissolved partnership with Ricky Starks, Ricky Starks is out. Ricky Starks is out. He's already out the door. If he isn't already, he's basically out the door, even though hasn't been released yet. He's going to be. And Tony Khan is just going to let him walk on into Triple H's door. And I don't know why. I think Ricky Starks could have been a great star for AEW if booked properly. But then again, that also comes to light. Like when you have such a big roster, it's kind of hard to balance. Because Ricky Starks has not been seen on television ever since he dropped the tag team titles to Sting and Darby Allin. Not once have we seen him. And that's basically Tony Khan's basically telling you, I don't care anymore. And I don't know why he doesn't care anymore, but he should. Because Ricky Starks is great. I mean, I don't care about what those people are saying. I mean, if that's what they want to say, that's their opinion. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinion. And I respect their opinions, even if I don't like their opinions. I respect them. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. I appreciate that you have your own opinion, and I respect it. I don't have to like it, but I can respect it. We got Harley Cameron versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm wanted retribution on Harley and Cameron and Saraya for what they did the previous week to Mariah May. This was technically classified as a grudge match. Non-title grudge match, which I'm going to tell you this right now. I am with JD. I stand with JD on what he said Wednesday night. Swerve versus Brian Cage was apparently a eliminator match for a future shot at the World Heavyweight Swerve's world title. Did it need to be an eliminator match? No. that could have been a grudge match. And it could have been, and that would have been made much more sense. Because what has Brian Cage done to even deserve a shot at the title? Nothing. He turned on Swerve Strickland. He and the rest of the Mogul Embassy turned on Swerve Strickland. That match should have been a grudge match. Kazuchika Okada versus Dax Harwood should have been a grudge match, and not for the Continental title, because there's no way Okada's losing that title just yet. Yeah, he definitely needs to hire a writing team, or at least somebody that is willing to tell him sometimes, hey, Tony, I don't think this is going to work, or I don't think this is going to work, or that's going to work. He needs somebody that's going to at least tell him no sometimes. He doesn't need to step down. He just needs to hire somebody, or at least a group of people, to write the shows. He can give his input. He can give his input if he wants to, but he really should not be booking the entire shows all the time anymore. He needs at least 2 people to write the shows, and he can still give his input every now and then if he wants to, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We also got Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli versus Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb. This is, I think, his like 3rd or 4th time that I've seen him in AEW. He might have been in AEW, made a couple more appearances, but I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Jeff Cobb in AEW. But the Blackpool Combat Club do win this match. Apparently, they're still feuding with the Don Callis family, but they're feuding with the Don Callis family apparently. But then Bryan Danielson is also involved in the Anarchy in the Arena match, Team AEW versus the Elite. I mean, it makes somewhat sense that. That's not all that he is, okay? Look. Sorry, but for those of you who are saying that Gunther is only a chop guy where he just does chop after chop after chop, that's not all that he does, okay? He does the power bomb, he does the Last Symphony, he does the splash off the top rope, he has the sleeper hold, he has the Boston Crab. He even does, I think, the half Boston Crab at times as well. Well, he can do a multitude of moves. He also has one of those. He also has a great lariat, which is basically a clothesline from hell. It's just when Gunther does a clothesline, it looks like a clothesline from hell, but just like an overdrive version of it. So that's, yeah. Sorry. We also got a contract signing with Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. They will wrestle for the TBS Championship at Double or Nothing. I mean, I don't think so, but everybody has their own opinions of Gunther, like I said. It's okay, Austin. You didn't have to be there. The Bloodline still won anyways on Matt's stream, so. But hey, if you were busy, it's okay. It's okay. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for the 4 likes. Hopefully this live stream will not last that much longer. Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné, they took jabs at each other. Willow Nightingale, the last words that were uttered in this were by Willow Nightingale, even at one point said that the last time they wrestled, she walked out a champion, and Mercedes, unfortunately, didn't walk out at all, wasn't able to walk out at all. That, I thought, was a very spicy line from Willow, basically, basically, basically throwing that in Mercedes' face. Mercedes grabbed the TBS title, tried for a belt shot. Willow grabbed Mercedes into a doctor bomb, put her through the table, and if she's not ready, then why the hell did they allow Mercedes to do that spot? Basically, a power bomb through a table. It's happened before, but Mercedes is clearly ready to wrestle. Why they have waited until this match to be her debut match, why they felt like this had to be her debut match, is beyond me. What they should have done is they should have had her, if she was ready to wrestle, and she was ready to wrestle the whole time. If she was ready to wrestle when she debuted, then they should have just had her win, at least maybe have get 2 or 3 wins, not squash matches, but just 5-6 minute wins against credible talent. That's not going to happen. Well, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And I know some people are saying that. I know there are people that say that Tama Tonga versus Jey Uso would be a much better match. And I know storyline-wise, yes, that would be true. It would be the better match to go with storyline-wise. But I could, honestly, I could see the Bloodline costing Jey Uso the win against Gunther just as much as I could see them doing Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga in the finals. Because they don't want, because obviously the Bloodline is not going to be finished. It's not finished with Jey Uso. We also got the Young Bucks in a tag team match versus Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. This was clearly a one-sided match. Young Bucks win. The ending, the aftermatch, I don't know. Yes, it makes more sense for a storyline purpose, but I would like to see Randy Orton versus Gunther because I don't think we haven't seen that match yet, and I'd love to see it. Also, we got Young Bucks versus Christopher Daniels, Matt Sydal. Young Bucks win. After the match, they decided that after Christopher Daniels had said some derogatory things about them recently, and the fact that they had put his hands on Young Bucks recently, they decided to, quote-unquote, fire Christopher Daniels. Now, I was worried at first that this might be a storyline, it might be either a real firing, but I'm now convinced that it is probably just a storyline-related firing, and what I could see happening is that Tony Khan eventually gets so fed up with the Young Bucks abusing their power that he basically decides to rehire Christopher Daniels, makes him an EVP, and then strips the Young Bucks of their power. That's how I would book it. But that might not be how they do it. But that would be interesting, to have the end game be the Young Bucks losing all the power that they thought they had, and then having the guy that they fired come back, realizing now that he holds the power that they originally had. No, we're not talking. I don't talk about Rampage. I don't watch Rampage, so I don't tend to talk about it as much. Besides, the majority of the Rampage shows have been on Saturdays nowadays instead of Fridays. I can't remember why they're doing it now on Saturdays. Maybe it's because of sports that are happening on Fridays, but I don't know. I mean, both would probably be huge, profitable, would mean huge profits for WWE. I'd like to see in England WrestleMania first. Just preference. Saudi Arabia will definitely host either a Royal Rumble or WrestleMania at some point. It's probably going to happen sooner rather than later, but I would like to see an England WrestleMania as well. As far as who I'd want to see, what I would like to see first, I don't know. We got Kazuchika Okada versus Dax Harwood. This match was typical for the Continental Classic title. I would not have made this match for the title. Didn't need to be. Kazuchika Okada obviously won the match. Then we got Team AEW brawling with Team Elite. Now, Eddie Kingston was supposedly taken out of this match because of a angle because of an injury that he suffered in a New Japan match against some guy named Gabe Kidd. He lost his never open weight strong title, whatever New Japan title he had. He lost to Gabe Kidd, but he also was involved in an angle with the Young Bucks and the Elite. Yeah. Hey, Swerve Show. Hey, Swerve Show. Glad you're here. Any of you who want to put a like on the live stream, feel free to do so. Yeah, they are. They are. But again, I don't worry about them at all. I don't really worry about them. But never fear, AEW had a replacement for Eddie Kingston, and that would be Darby Allin. He made his return for the first time since getting attacked by the Bullet Club Gold. Also, he recently got hit by a bus, so he has a broken nose too. I'm like, damn, Darby Allin is just going to kill himself before he turns 30 or 35. And he still wants to climb Mount Everest. Like, oh God. Like, is Darby Allin trying to kill himself? I know he's probably not actually doing it on purpose, but hey, he's got to think. He's doing all these reckless things, and now he's going to be put in a match where he's going to be given free reign to do whatever dangerous stunts he wants. Like, oh gosh. Man. I don't know. But hey, if I were to rate AEW Dynamite this week, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, actually. There were some good matches. Kazuchika Okada versus Dax Harwood, Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage, Blackpool Combat Club versus Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb, but there were some things that just didn't need to happen. Some things that were made, some of the matches, even though they were good, there were things about them that should not have happened. Like Swerve versus Brian Cage should not have been a title eliminator match. Kazuchika Okada versus Dax Harwood didn't need to be for the Continental title. Could have just been a match because they're both feuding with each other at the moment as part of Team AEW versus Team Elite and for Anarchy in the Arena. Yeah, to them, I think some of them may think that Cody Rhodes is just boring and that he's not a good champion and that he's a glorified mid-carder for life. But hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. SmackDown was a good show this week. We got Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton to open the show. And for those of you who say that Tiffany Stratton is buried because she lost to Bianca, I want to tell you this right now. Tiffany Stratton was never going to win Queen of the Ring. It was never going to happen. She's winning, and it doesn't matter because she's already got something penciled in, I'm pretty sure, and that's Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton will win the Money in the Bank briefcase this year. I think it's pretty much guaranteed. She will be a women's champion, by the end of the year. Trust me on this. Tiffany Stratton is winning Money in the Bank. She was never going to win the Queen of the Ring tournament. She didn't need to because she's already got something that she's more than likely winning already. That's Money in the Bank. So Bianca Belair was going to win this match. Whether or not she had that controversial post posted or not, whether or not she posted the controversial post, it wouldn't have mattered. Bianca Belair wins in about 11 minutes. This was a great match for television. We also got LA Knight versus Tama Tonga. This was a match that I was a bit surprised by, but then I eventually realized it actually makes more sense now considering what we eventually got, which was 2 backstage segments involving LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes. I don't think they would have 2 backstage segments with the same people unless they deciding to do a bit of a feud between the two. We also got a moment in which LA Knight was, when Logan Paul was heading into, I don't really care for Sean Ross Sapp, but again, I respect everybody and their opinions. We also got LA Knight at one point, what I guess was walking out of Nick Aldis's office. We got Logan Paul going into the office, into Nick Aldis's office, and LA Knight was eyeing up Logan Paul's U.S. Championship. I feel like they are doing that match for SummerSlam, and it is happening. Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the United States Championship at SummerSlam in Cleveland. Book it. And I think that's what they are doing, and I think that is their plans. Because as of right now, because then during the contract signing, we basically can get confirmation. Because before this contract signing, I had a million questions, like, what's the match between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul for? Is it for both titles? One title? Is it just a champion versus champion match like they used to do at Survivor Series all the time? Like they used to do at Survivor Series where it's just champion versus champion. But it's only for the World WWE Championship. I'm glad that they decided, hey, we may or may not have allowed Cody Rhodes to give our hopes up, give the fans their hopes up that it was going to be a title versus title match. And I'm glad that it's not title versus title, because I don't feel like Logan Paul should be losing that title to anybody except LA Knight. That's the match in which Logan Paul loses the title, and LA Knight goes on to have his moment, which fans have been clamoring for since he began using the LA Knight moniker again. So here's what it is. We got DIY. We also got quarterfinal matches for the King of the Ring. Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes. Randy Orton was obviously going to win this match. Didn't think Randy Orton was going to lose. We did get 2 backstage segments involving LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes. That, I think, is going to be a feud that will happen in the interim from now until maybe SummerSlam. I think that's what they're going with, is a feud between LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes, which would be a good feud. Basically, it's a young up-and-coming star versus a seasoned veteran. Even though Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight have been in WWE pretty much the same amount of time, LA Knight is just a lot older and has been around a lot more years than LA Knight, than Carmelo Hayes. We also got a backstage segment involving Bayley. She talked about the Queen of the Ring, was talking about the Queen of the Ring tournament. We talked about Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, the Bianca Belair and all that. We also got Then Piper Niven and Chelsea Green would interrupt Bayley, and Bayley decided, if you guys want to, maybe we can settle this in the ring next week. So I don't know what that's gonna entail, but maybe it involves a championship match on a random episode of SmackDown. Which I'm not mad at that if that's what it leads to. We got Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax, which was also a quarterfinal match. I actually did not know who was going to win this match either, because I thought Nia Jax could win, but then again, they probably don't want to have Nia Jax actually pin Jade Cargill, but then again, I think they also did not want Jade Cargill to pin Nia as well, because she's, I'm guessing, getting a bit of a push here. So they decided to do the one thing that they knew they could do, and that is have Jade Cargill get herself disqualified after Nia Jax decides to taunt Jade's daughter at ringside. Then Jade Cargill basically goes into Mama Bear mode, and just at one point Nia Jax grabs a steel chair. Jade grabs it and attacks Nia Jax, which basically gets her disqualified. I actually am okay with this. This was the only outcome that actually would have worked, and it keeps both women looking strong, and they both get a little post-match attack, which is good, because they can revisit this later after Nia. Maybe Nia does win Queen of the Ring. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We also got DIY versus Legado 2.0, basically, which is my name for it. Legado 2.0 of Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. I'm just gonna say his real name, Humberto Carrillo. I'm tired of these name changes. But hey, it is what it is. DIY do win the match. I don't know who Grayson Waller and Austin Theory's next opponents will be, but they were ringside for this match. So, and then we got like a AJ Styles. We also got an AJ Styles backstage segment. Promo. He was being interviewed, talked about his recent loss in the King of the Ring tournament. He does not know what's next for him. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he leaves WWE after this year and then goes maybe to AEW just to have some dream matches. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. SmackDown was a good show. If I had to rate it, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, basically. And that's it. That's it, guys. I'm done. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I know I did. And be sure to like. I have a video that I will be uploading as soon as this live stream is over. I have a video that I am uploading, and so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you guys can get to my newest video once it's uploaded, feel free to do so. I would very much appreciate the views. I very much appreciate the views and the likes. I now have 4 videos. I now have 4 videos that are over 1,000 views. I'm excited for this channel. I'm hoping to get the 500 subscribers. So right now I think I'm at 470. So if you guys could help me with that as well, I would appreciate it. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.